great. Thank you. And we're going to be having a rally today. So we're going to be making some noise. We're going to be holding up signs. Everybody have a sign? If you don't have a sign, we will get you a sign. That would be great. Interpretation devices. Analia is going to tell us about interpretation devices in Spanish for anybody who needs them.
Hola a todos, muchas gracias por venir. Tenemos interpretación, los equipos enfrente donde está la mesa. Si alguien necesita, por favor que pase, nosotros le vamos a proveer el equipo. ¿Alguien que necesita que levante la mano? ¿No?
Okay. Great. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming today. My name is Susan Goddard. I'm the director of the Nassau County, New York Civil Liberties Union. I would like to introduce you to Arlo Fleischer, who is our amazing and wonderful and steadfast organizer for the New York Civil Liberties Union. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for coming out in the horrible weather and so many amazing people here today. Arlo is going to start us off with some chants to get the energy going.
What do we want? Equal rights! When do we want it? Now! What do we want?
Equal rights!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Equal rights!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Equal rights!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Equal rights!
When do we want it?
Now!
Fight, fight, fight! Abortion is a human right! Fight, fight, fight! Abortion is a human right! Fight, fight, fight!
Abortion is a human right!
Everybody. Okay, so we're going to ask you to hold up your signs whenever you can, just for a second or two, so that you don't block everybody behind you for too long. And thank you. I don't even know what to say. I am just so grateful. I see so many amazing, familiar faces in the house. I see so many amazing, not familiar, and yay, that means that we're building the small army in the house, so thank you so much, everybody. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about why we're here today, because we're going to need to really be educating people about this. We're at the very beginning stages. Some of you may remember the Equal Rights Amendment of the 70s. Okay, well, I just have to tell you, this is not your mother's ERA. It is better. It is 1,000 times better. As you know, since the Dobbs decision, state-level action is needed. So this ERA is the New York State ERA. So when we talk about it, we want to add that, right? We want to say it's the New York State ERA so people don't get confused. It has passed the New York State legislature twice, and it will now be on the ballot in November. That is something that we want to make sure that people know that, okay? The New York State ERA includes protections not only for gender, but it prohibits discrimination based on ethnicity, national origin, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression, and, drumroll please, pregnancy and pregnancy outcomes. So this campaign is about protecting everyone, including our right to bodily autonomy and reproductive health care. And it is our Ohio, it is our Kansas. The nation will be watching. Maria's here, hi Maria. The nation will be watching, and we need to make sure that Nassau County shows up, right? Yeah, so, and also Suffolk. If anybody's here from Suffolk, we have sign-up sheets and we will direct you. Hooray for Suffolk, drive. We have sign-up sheets we'll hook you into our campaign and also the Suffolk campaign. So we will need people to throw house parties, do canvassing, do phone banking. There are different levels of commitments that you can do. If you're already overloaded, I know a lot of people are doing a lot of work on a lot of things. So we do have different levels of commitment. Some of it can just be, hey, can you show up? Some of it can be, hey, can you make space for us to come into your meetings so we can teach others? Some of it might be, hey, can you throw a house party? And we will be there to support that. So we'll let you know about all of that. The legislation protecting people's rights is no longer a guarantee. So this is to explain why do we need a constitutional amendment. A constitutional amendment is necessary because if the legislature turns and there are political winds that are not favorable to the legislation that we favor, then that could disappear. So it's very difficult to get something into the Constitution, which means it's also very difficult to get something out of the Constitution. And that's why we need a constitutional amendment. So before I introduce our speakers, I want to share with you the organizations who are members of the Central Committee of the New Yorkers for Equal Rights campaign. And if they're in the House, raise your hand. The League of Women Voters. Planned Parenthood. New York Immigration Coalition. New York Civil Liberties. New York Pride Agenda. The National Institute for Reproductive Health. NAACP. And Make the Road New York. And 1199 SEIU, who had an amazing rally I heard yesterday. I saw it. Okay, I'd like to also mention our close partners here in Nassau County, who I can't do this work, especially today, without these organizations. They are amazing partners. New Hour for Women and Children, Long Island. The Long Island Language Advocates Coalition. Cheryl's laughing somewhere. Where's Cheryl? There's Cheryl. Okay. Gender Equality New York. New York Communities for Change. The Corridor Counts. Long Island Advocates for Police Accountability. Long Island United for Transforming Policing and Community Safety. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Shelter Rock. The RAP Campaign for Elder Parole Justice. Latino Justice Pro-Deaf. Liz Chan, Long Island Social Justice Action Network. Long Island Progressive Coalition. Strong Youth. And the Solidarity Group Incorporated from Freeport. Yeah. I fear I have left somebody out. We all work really closely together on Long Island, so thank you. And finally, to thank my dear friend Sonia, who saved the day, and the Ethical Humanist Society, where we are today. Real shout out for the Ethical Humanist Society, and please think about grabbing information before you leave, talking to people from the Ethical Humanist Society who are here today and made this beautiful space available. Join them, and we want to be able to give out information. So thank you so much. I can't thank everybody enough. This room is filled on a day like this. And apparently the press think it's more important to cover the rain than all of you coming out in the rain. So we're gonna do everything we can, get the word out. You guys are making this great. So come election night, we want you to be there with us, celebrating with new friends and old, knowing that we joined hands and that we did this together, that you did this, and that you can tell your kids and grandkids that when they started pushing, you were there to push back, and that you did something. So let's remember to tell people, flip the ballot, join the campaign, and vote yes for the ERA. Sign it. Great. So honored to have you here. Yeah.
afternoon, everyone. My name is Nia Adams, and I'm with the Working Families Party of Nassau County. We believe in fighting for social, racial, and economic justice, and it is our honor to be here today with you amongst like-minded community organizations, elected officials, and policy advocates. We share a vision, who share a vision for the Equal Rights Amendment and believe that together we can build a future where we all can thrive. We have witnessed in real time a coordinated and concerted effort to roll back the rights of Black, Indigenous, LGBTQ+, working class women, and gender marginalized folks. And to that we must say no. In the words of civil rights activist and writer James Baldwin, if they take you in the morning, they will come for us in the night. We must understand that our fundamental liberties are tied to one another, and it is our responsibility to protect and advocate for one another. The ERA is a collective demand for that. This amendment would add to existing protections and would prohibit discrimination based on a person's race, ethnicity, national origin, age, ability, sex, gender identity, and/or expression, pregnancy, and more, including reproductive justice and body autonomy. And I want to remind folks that we are not separate from our histories, but rather living continuations of them. We have been fighting to pass the ERA for decades, and we stand on the shoulders of giants, such as Shirley Chisholm, Barbara Jordan, and Flo Kennedy, Black women who have been advocating for the protections of the ERA since the 1970s, who have laid the groundwork in preserving and defending our democracy. We understand that our communities are safer and happier and healthier when our fundamental rights are protected and we are allowed to thrive. And this is why we implore you to please flip your ballot and vote yes on the New York State Equal Rights Amendment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nia. I'd like to introduce now Assemblyman Charles Levine. Assemblyman Levine has been a great ally in the New York State Legislature on reproductive rights and on many other issues as well. Many of you may know him. We are just so honored to have him here today. Assemblyman Charles Levine.
Thank you, Susan, for the kind words. When I went to law school, I had to learn to study something called classical law French. And I just want to let you know that seeing all of you here today in this rough weather, I know you're not fair weather sailors, and I know that you're anything but sunshine patriots. So I'm going to rely on an expression, a word from classical law French to tell you how great it is for me to be able to be here and see you all today. I am literally cavelling. I'm cavelling. And I know that someone's translating this into Spanish. Tengo que decir, no sé qué es la palabra en español for cavelling. Which I think means, I don't know how to say the word for felling in Spanish. I am the person who has the good fortune of representing Northeast Nassau County in the New York State Assembly. I also have the good fortune of being the chair of the Judiciary Committee. And this bill, this measure that provides for the Equal Rights Amendment to be on our ballot came through my committee. Now, I don't want to give you the sense. I don't want to give you the sense. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. It's much easier to be the chair of one of these committees, and it is a major committee, much easier to be the chair than it is to be the advocates who are trying to advance legislation. And I do want to say that there were many different versions, as Susan knows, of what the bill would be, what the language would be. And it was a real contentious battle. And I want to take a moment to thank Rebecca Seawright, who was the assembly sponsor and is a dear friend, and another dear friend, Liz Kruger, who sponsored it on the Senate side, and to the talented talented lawyers for both the Senate and the Assembly who hammered out the language so we would be in the best position to stand up to constitutional challenges that will be made. And I don't mean to underestimate, or I should say undervalue, although that's really not the right word. Let's say underestimate the spirit and the intensity and the money of the forces that will come out to fight against this, and the distractions that will be made. Here in Nassau County alone, right now, what is on the mind of the leadership who will be opposed to this? Well, it's how best to fight against and how best to humiliate trans kids. What the heck is that all about? You are here today to stand strongly for what is right. And it is very fitting that we're here at the Ethical Humanist Society, in which we value humanity and we value the public good. The Equal Rights Amendment is all about the public good. I thank you for being here. Let us make sure that we stand strongly together, because we are going to need to do this. And finally, when the Supreme Court of the United States issued the Dobbs decision, many people were surprised. But Fred, I know you weren't surprised. And I wasn't surprised, because I listened to the confirmation hearings. And, you know, we don't talk about this enough in our public discourse. Can you not tell who's a liar? Can you not tell? You do it every day. You do it every day in our human existence. Those judges lied. They lied to us. And never before in American history have Americans been robbed of their rights. They haven't been. We've been denied our rights. The Dred Scott decision is one, for example. But never before has a right been stolen from us by people in black robes. I am still pissed off about that. And I have the feeling I'm not the only person here. So let's take that energy and let's make sure that come November, we make sure that the rights of all Americans are protected. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. I'd like to also now introduce a great ally and friend and a great emotional support through the bad weather situation. Julie Gray Owens has been fighting for transgender rights for a very long time. Julie is the co-founder of, or founder of Gender Equality New York. And Julie is a great friend and ally. I'll bring Julie up also to tell you, felling, it's just so funny you use that word. For anybody that doesn't know, that is that your heart is so full that you can't even stand it. It usually is used in relation to how we feel about our children, which is why it is so important that you use that word in relation to this. And yes. On that note, let's bring on Julie Gray Owens, a great champion in
Good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I have to tell you, I drove up earlier trying to get here in the rain, put some signs out in front of the courthouse to let people know, if they hadn't heard already, that we were located here. Thank you so much to the Ethical Society for giving us this space today. Well, when I drove up, I was expecting to see 3 cars and a lot of puddles, and instead, I was looking at the time when I came, a half-filled parking lot, and I was so excited that everyone came out in this horrible weather to be able to come together and realize the work that we have to do starting now. I have to bring you back a month, just a little up the road, when the county executive of Nassau County signed an executive order which impacted my community's children. We have 5-year-old transgender girls who just want to play with their friends on a soccer field, and they now will no longer be allowed to play on the fields of Nassau County. The answer is, well, let them play with the boys. For those who are female, do you remember the days of wanting to be on a boys' team? And for those who are male, do you remember being on a male team, inviting and being warmly accepting to a girl on your team? Those same things exist right now. And that's the kind of things that are going on. It doesn't take a lot of effort to look through the daily newspaper and see that every single day there's another state doing something else attacking the transgender, gender non-binary, and intersex communities. They know so much and know so little. The misinformation and the outright lies that are being told about our community are not only hurtful but damaging to our community. I can't understand how we would want to do anything to our younger generation coming up behind us, who will eventually be our leaders, our thought leaders, our scientists, anything that you can think of. Those young people are going to be it, and yet we are attacking them. We are taking away their rights to just be kids, to just be their friends, to participate in sports, to understand what it means to lose, to understand what it means to win, and to understand what it means to do both of those things in the right and proper way. Our community constantly suffers from discrimination. In a national survey, it was found that transgender people were 3 times more likely to be unemployed. And that number jumped to 4 times for transgender people of color. We are underemployed, unemployed, unhoused, and food insecure. And yet they keep piling on. They keep piling on and piling on. We need to understand that the ERA means something to all of us. But what it really means is it means that we are putting up boards across the door so they can't break in. We are putting up walls to protect our equality. We are building a moat for our rights. We have to do this work. We must do this work, not only to protect the transgender community, but a woman's right to choose, the safety of our women in regard to birth and reproduction, to make sure that equity is for every New Yorker, not just for some who might be powerful and white. And so I urge you, put all your effort into helping get the New York State ERA passed. It is long past due, and we must make sure we keep them away from our freedom, our justice, and our equality. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Stephen. So well said. Let's all keep in mind how hard it is to control the rage and behave the way we're supposed to in public when we're feeling that level of rage. It's not good. So Julie does it well. Next, I'd like to bring on Fred Brewington. Fred is, where's Fred? There's Fred. Fred is formidable. You all know that. I think everybody's familiar with Fred. Fred has founded the Corridor Counts, which represents the corridor towns in Nassau County, founded the Long Island Advocates for Police Accountability, and Fred has been doing civil rights law for his whole life and is the face of the fight here in Nassau County. So I would like to introduce Fred Brewington.
Whose rights? Our rights. Whose rights? Our rights. Whose rights? Our rights. Whose rights? Our rights. Get off my rights. And that's what's happening right now in Nassau County, and it's happening across New York State. It's happening in our country. It's time that we stand shoulder to shoulder, push against that boulder, and make ERA the thing of today. It's important that we get together and make sure that the voices of those who have been pushed down, immigrants, women, transgender folks, everybody that has been marginalized, be brought back into the family. Because we are not talking about them versus us, we're talking about us. We're not talking about those folks over there, we're talking about my neighbors and your neighbors. We're talking about the people in our community that rely on us to do the work. So when we talk about ERA, and folks talk back and say, well, you know that's something that I'm not quite sure of, make it personal. Look them in the face. Look them in the eye. And ask them this question. If you were, wouldn't you want? And have them answer that question seriously. Because people don't want to talk about things that make them uncomfortable, do they? Well, let me just ask that a different way. Have we in America ever had the uncomfortable conversations that we need to have? The answer is no. So if we really want to make this happen, this is the time. There's a constitutional amendment that has to go across this state. And I'm going to tell you that that's where I don't think we should even flip the ballot. I think we should start there. I think that because if we don't do things this November, we're in trouble, y'all. Because ERA can start the way. But after you vote ERA, flip the ballot and then vote and say, I want to save USA. Yeah. Let me say it again. After you vote ERA, flip the ballot, vote to save USA. And what that does, that makes ERA number one, but it also brings us all together when we flip the ballot, because we got big issues coming at us right now. The rights of all of us are on the line. Everybody that wants to speak truth to power has a real concern today. And if we don't know that, we only need to look down to, what's that man's name with the B? Don't say his name. And see how ridiculous, Julie, that is. To issue an executive order that's got about as much power as, well, let me just say that. But then to dictate to individuals how they want to interact with their own bodies. There's a problem here. And what we need to do, and I'm going to sit down in a second, we need to grab folks by the grill. Linda's laughing at me, but we need to grab them by the grill and bring them real close and have the conversation that they don't want to have. Because I'm not going to apologize for making people uneasy. Because if we apologize, we lose our way. So, let me end with this. This is the 21st century. ERA today. ERA is the only way. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Arlo, did you write those down? Okay. Okay, I'd like to welcome now Mishi Cardenas. Mishi is with the Planned Parenthood of Greater New York. Planned Parenthood is a great partner, as you all know, in the fight. We're going to be doing this all together. So I'd like to bring on Mishi.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you to everyone who's here today. I know that the weather will not stop us for ensuring that we have these protections and that we have this right. I wanted to first say that the Long Island County Executive Order to ban transgender athletes is bullshit. And excuse my language.
Don't apologize.
Call it like you see it.
Thank you, thank you. Discrimination against trans girls, trans boys, our non-binary children has no place in New York or anywhere. We must protect trans kids and build a New York that's moving forward and not backward. That's why we're all here today, right? Trans rights, trans health, and trans safety is reproductive justice. Here at Planned Parenthood of Greater New York, we carry a vision of building a world where all communities can have access to affordable and high-quality sexual and reproductive services, whenever, wherever, and however they are needed. All are welcome to receive care at PBGNY, any Planned Parenthood location really, regardless of your income, regardless of your immigration status, of your gender, gender expression, sexual orientation, and ability to pay. Sexual and reproductive health care is a matter of equity and justice. It is a human right, and we need to protect this right today and for future generations to come. It's mind-blowing to me, and I'm sure to all of you who are here today, that right now, New York's state constitution does not protect all New Yorkers from discrimination. This November 5th, the New York State ERA will be on the ballot to not only add these explicit protections, but it would also mean protection against any government actions that would curtail a person's reproductive autonomy. Given the current political landscape, where politicians are unjustly making decisions over people's bodies and selfhood, we need New Yorkers to vote yes on the ERA this November. And although we have statutory safeguards right now, they could be taken away from us anytime if the state legislator turns. And we're already seeing this unravel in other states, Alabama, Florida, Texas, and even in our own state. I mean, look at transgender youth in Nassau County. They're being targeted. Our migrant communities, they're being targeted. People's quality of care are being impacted. And if they come for one of us, they come for all of us. And although we can't predict the outcome of this year's elections, we can fight for our own protections here to preserve the rights of everyone. Join the ERA campaign, help spread the word, talk to your families, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, talk to your co-workers, talk to the workers at the deli, talk to the workers at the supermarket, talk to everyone, spread the word, flip the ballot, and vote yes on the New York State ERA. Si se puede.
Thank you. Planned Parenthood, yeah. Okay, I'd like to introduce, we have two more speakers. Is Ramona in the house? May have showed up late. Okay. All right, just making sure. We have two more speakers, then we're gonna do a little chanting. Melanie's gonna close us out, and that's gonna get pretty raucous. So I would like to bring up now a wonderful partner and ally, Cheryl Keshner, and friend. Cheryl's been fighting the good fight on language access in Nassau County and Suffolk County for a very, very long time. And Cheryl is also quite a force to be reckoned with on this front. So I would like to bring up Cheryl Keshner from the Long Island Language Advocates Coalition.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's really great to see so many folks out in this kind of wet, damp weather. It's not dampening our spirits. So, my name's Cheryl Keshner. I've been working with Long Island's low-income, underserved, marginalized communities for many years. And I'm also a mother of a son and daughter by choice. I'm a grandmother of 2 beautiful little girls who were born by choice, and I'm a firm believer in reproductive rights. So the Long Island Language Advocates Coalition works to ensure that people who may not read, write, speak, or understand English proficiently, as well as people who may face communication barriers based on sensory challenges, deaf, blind, hard of hearing, low vision, that they will have equal access to various programs and services. And I just lost my notes, so just bear with me one second. You know, we know that there are millions of New Yorkers who are limited English proficient, who do not speak English as their primary language. And they often do face barriers in everyday encounters, whether it be with healthcare providers, with the police, with the courts, with social services, and in education, and so many other areas. And as a result, oftentimes they are treated in an inferior manner and do not get the services that they deserve. You know, this ERA is essential to protect the rights of everybody. We also know that in our immigrant community, many folks are afraid of accessing services. There's been so much anti-immigrant rhetoric going on, so many myths put out about what might happen to you, that you might get deported if you use this or that benefit. And so it is really important that we have this extra protection to help people feel safe, to feel secure, to know that they have the same rights as anybody else to access health care and to have control over their own bodies. You know, my notes are gone, but this is really coming in an essential time when we're seeing so many attacks on the right to reproductive rights, when we're seeing, you know, abortion being criminalized in so many states, whether a person has been a victim of rape, incest, whether the mother's life is in danger. It's not a question of protecting babies. It's a question of controlling women and controlling what we can do with our bodies. And so we need to fight back against this. The ERA would include additional protections against discrimination, based on national origin, based on sexual orientation, based on so many other categories. And I have them all written down here, but you know what they are. And we need this. You know, our health care cannot be at the whim of who's in the elected office. This has to be a permanent protection and a change in the state constitution. You know, recently, as many people have said, we've seen increasing animosity towards the transgender community. We've seen increasing animosity towards immigrants, many of them newly arrived, and as has been mentioned, many of that has come from down the road, from the county executive right here, who recently said in a mailer, a taxpayer-funded mailer that went out to everybody, that not a penny of county funds would be spent on non-citizens. Okay, so we need these protections to make sure that we are all safeguarded, that our rights are safeguarded, that nobody is marginalized, that nobody's left to have a coat hanger abortion. You know, those days should be behind us. An attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. So let's work together, flip the ballot, make sure the ERA is passed, and ensure that everyone has access to healthcare and to fundamental human rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Before we close out, I'm going to ask Arlo, our Night Clue organizer, to come forward and share. And serious. Yeah, if it weren't for Arlo, I'm not quite sure this would happen today. So Arlo's going to come and share with you all the ways that you can get involved and what we're going to be doing next.
Well, first I just have to say thank you guys so much for coming. If you can't tell, I'm just so overflowing with joy and love today, so I really, really appreciate you all being here. We love you! So, a couple of ways that you can get involved. involved and stick with us and stick with me in this high energy campaign. We are going to be doing a volunteer convening on April 10th. That is our next one. We have campaign meetings once every month or every 2 weeks. That's typically the frequency that we have them. There's a ton of really exciting, really fun ways to get involved, and I'm happy to work with you if none of them work for you to find the best way for you to join us in this fight. We also have QR codes to sign up to volunteer with NYCLU. We have QR codes to sign up to volunteer with the campaign as a whole. And there's one-pagers with information on the Equal Rights Amendment so that you can share them with your friends and help us spread the word. If you haven't already, there's also a sign-up sheet to sign up to get on our email list. Thank you so much.
I think in the next couple of weeks, we're going to try to identify people who are willing to have house parties over the spring and summer and get some of those dates down. And then, like I said, we have different levels of commitment. If you're already overwhelmed with the work that you're going to be doing, there will be ways for you to plug in. So now I'm going to turn it over to our last speaker, and then I will close us out, and maybe Arla will do another chant with us after Melanie speaks. Again, I can't thank you all enough for coming here in the rain like this. I would like to turn it over to Melanie Dirijo, who has been a political candidate who is representing the National Organization for Women, and who is, I have to tell you, a lot of the energy behind Arlo and I being able to keep moving forward. So I'm going to turn it over to Melanie right now.
Well, before I begin, let's just hear it for Susan and Arlo who put this together. It's such a pleasure to be here with you all today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Melanie Dirijo. I am the Executive Director for the Campaign for New York Health. I am the founder of Nassau Progressives, and I'm also the New York State Legislative Vice President for the National Organization for Women. All of those organizations, thank you, all of those organizations of which we'll be throwing down for the ERA. So if you're part of an organization, I want you to, you know what? This is not me. I want you to tell Arlo which organizations you're part of so your organizations can throw down as well. Yes. So it's been a brutal few years, right, if you're in the business of civil rights, right? Federally, we've seen Roe fall. We've seen countless black and brown people targeted because of the color of their skin. Right here in Nassau County, we've seen countless neighbors ethnically profiled, stopped by police for no reason other than the color of their skin. And as my good friend Julie mentioned, we've got a county executive with little man energy, which is the nicest way I could put it, who thinks it's a good idea to target marginalized trans kids. Yeah, it's appalling. I don't know who just said that. Yes, it is. It's appalling, and I've got a different kind of energy because of it. I've got incredible Hulk energy. Because I am big mad all the time. All the time. I'm so mad I ran for office. Do you know how mad you have to be to do that? And I did it twice. Right? There are some days that I am so goddamn mad, I could flip a goddamn table. Are you mad like that? Well, come November, we're going to do something different. We're going to flip the ballot. We're going to flip the ballot, and we're going to overwhelmingly vote in the New York State Equal Rights Amendment. To enshrine protections against discrimination for women, for pregnant people, disabled people, seniors, the LGBTQIA community. We're gonna leave no one behind. And I'm hoping, and I hope you all can help me with this, I'm hoping I'm gonna turn my big Hulk energy into a different kind of energy. And I'm gonna need you all to help me. I wanna turn that big, angry energy into hope. Because I believe that there's hope in community, there's hope in solidarity. There's hope in reclaiming our power and creating the type of New York that all of us can live in. A safe and better New York for all of us. So I have a couple questions for you. Are you ready to reclaim our power?
Yeah!
Are you ready to get to work?
Yes!
Are you ready to believe in hope?
Yes!
Okay, so I'm a little pushier than Susan, and so I'm putting y'all on the spot right now. How many people will commit to a house party this summer?
House party!
A house party. Come on, all right, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Think about this. This could be a barbecue. This could be a book club. This could just be inviting some friends over for dinner. I said keep your hands up. Who else? Can we get 5 more people to commit to a house party? 5 more people.
Right down there.
Can you count? Yes. Keep your hands up. Arla's going to come around. She's going to get your information. Okay. Put your hands down. If you're not committing to a house party, how many people can commit to a postcard party? Woo! All right, now keep your hands up. Arla, you're going to get these postcard people. Now, if you committed to a house party or a postcard party, let me see your hands. Everybody, who's left? Who's not? For the folks that didn't commit, are you committed to doing the work? Are you committed to a canvas? Woo! I want to get every hand in this room up, guys. You didn't come out in this monsoon not to do the work. So put your hands up if you're going to canvas. Host a house party. Host a postcard party. Do we got everybody? Oh, do we got everybody?
Phone bank, phone bank.
Yeah, we're going to have other opportunities also, but I just needed to get y'all to commit to something today. We're going to have plenty of fun. We're going to have plenty of opportunities. I just want to thank you guys for coming out. I want to thank you for believing in something bigger and something better. And damn, doesn't it feel good to be on offense for once? Let's go get busy. All right, everyone, let's get it done.
See, that's why Melanie runs and I don't. Thank you. Okay, so I think that this is, I think felling is a great word. To see all your faces. I see you who came in afterwards. Elmer, thank you so much. Parole justice is in the house. Yep. Nami is in the house. I see Maria, and everybody. Thank you so much. And Arlo, of course, also our intern, and also our 2 volunteers that helped us make the signs. Let me see those signs one last time. Let's get a picture.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yep. And if you guys want to meet us over there when we're done, we can take a picture of everybody if you want. Signs up. We would love that.
One more signs up.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
And make sure that you see Arlo and we get your names for the commitments that Melanie got out of you. And Irma Solis in Suffolk County will be told. She's our director in Suffolk County if you're from Suffolk. So make sure you check that little box. Again, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you so much to the Ethical Humanist Society for this beautiful space. Please think about getting all the information you can. We will send you information from the Ethical Humanist Society. They have great programs here and wonderful members. And don't forget to sign up and let us know how you can connect. And don't forget, flip the ballot, join the campaign. Vote yes to ERS.